America left Afghanistan and took its final soldier from Bagram military base without informing the Afghan officials. This good news was followed by the collapse of different Afghan districts at the hand of Taliban. What's going on in Afghanistan and what is the possible future of this country? Join this episode of Counterclockwise, in which I'm going to discuss to Mr. Hafizullah Rajabi, an Afghan journalist and university lecturer. Short and brief, tell us the latest ground condition of Afghanistan.
There's a fight.
India has started the back door to Taliban
To create chaos, to kill Muslims, to kill innocents.
It's actually scratching my soul.
There is a problem with the Afghan government.
What is the main reason that Iran is being blamed?
Afghanistan has faced two critical issues.
CCW stands for
Justice Against the Tyranny.
Like,
The Oppressed.
follow,
The Truth.
subscribe,
The Justice.
and stay tuned with this struggle.
CCW stands for Counterclockwise.
Mr. Razavi, thank you to you and to all the experts we are having in this program.
Thank you.
Your service.
Thank you. I have also my brother Hussein with me. How are you, Hussein?
Thank you. How do you do?
Alhamdulillah, doing well. Let's go to
I'm happy that we finally are going to talk about Afghanistan, because it's a while that everything is hot over there, but we haven't talked yet about it. So
we were looking after finding someone
of Mr. Hafizullah, inshallah,
to whom we can talk. Mr. Hafizullah, short and brief, tell us the latest ground condition of Afghanistan.
Okay, Mr. Razavi, as you know now, I think Afghanistan has faced two critical issues. And the first one is the peace negotiations that has faced a deadlock in Doha, Qatar. And from the other issue, the main issue is the on the ground that the Taliban has intensified their attacks to control more territory, to put a type of pressure to change the result of the negotiation in Doha to their favorites. This is the latest and the biggest concerns for Afghan people and as well as Afghan government, that nothing is going to be clear for us. The negotiation began some month ago, has not come to a clear conclusion. From the other side, the Taliban has intensified their attacks, and now I think the deadly attacks of Taliban has victimized, I think, thousands of Afghan civilians, Afghan innocents in different parts and in different provinces. And now the geography of war has changed, has extended from southern provinces of Afghanistan to the north, mainly the provinces of Faryab, Takhar, Mazar-e-Sharif, and Samangan. And I think we can say that not even one province in the north of Afghanistan safe for people to live.
If I'm not wrong, Mr. Hafizullah, Taliban being with his Pashtun background, is belonging to the southern part of Afghanistan, but they are now controlling the most northern parts as well, which typically belongs to Tajiks and also some parts to Hazaras. But the question is here, how they are controlling these provinces and these districts in northern Afghanistan. Meanwhile, they don't have that tribal, that ethnic background in northern Afghanistan.
Okay, Mr. Razavi, if you have a short look at the contemporary history of war against terrorism in Afghanistan, we should say that the recent contemporary governments in Afghanistan are blamed for this crisis and for the ongoing wars. Based on the evidences, the ex-president of Afghanistan, Hamid Karzai, that began the secret talks with the Taliban, was worried about the Pashtun tribes and says that why the majority of the victims of the war against terrorism should be the Pashtun people. So he did some secret actions to change the geography of war. I think some years ago, it dates back to 5 years ago, or even 8 years ago, when Afghanistan was safer than now. But unfortunately, this is the result of the wrong policy of the government of Afghanistan, that they wanted to implement their own evil policies. But they when they were
What are those what are those evil policies that they are letting Taliban to take control of all those walis, all those districts in northern? What is behind that? Because so many tell that Taliban is getting control without any fight.
Yes, of course. This was predictable situations. When I was in Afghanistan, working as a university lecturer, as a journalist, I was told that I think some evil plan was being implemented by the president because he was worried about the Pashtun tribes. You know, they wanted now. They want to have a kind of coalition government composed of mainly the Pashtun people or Pashtun tribes. So they had planned to control the north provinces of Afghanistan to establish a center for a new government, mostly composed of Taliban. So in fact, they wanted to have two capitals or two parallel governments, one in Kabul and the other in Mazar-e-Sharif. Then they wanted to join each other and have a majority Pashtun government, but this was a wrong policy because they had ignored the other tribes in Afghanistan, Tajiks, Hazaras, and the other races. But now we can see that Americans have left Afghanistan with its tail between its legs. This happened to Afghanistan, but most of the things or the bad situations or the bloody situations we have, it's because of the wrong policies our government had. Always the government blamed Pakistan, India, and the other superpowers in the region that, okay, all the problems we have is because of Pakistan or that country, India, or the other countries. But I think they have forgotten their parts. Why you didn't do properly to first have a proper foreign policy to get most of the foreign aids, the money or the equipments injected to Afghanistan from America or national community. But now,
so as you described the situation, sir, it's only a domestic policy that causes this problem right now. Am I right? There is no, external interfere into that.
No, of course. Can we say that I think talking about Afghanistan war and peace, I think we should focus on two main factors. The first one is referred to the superpowers or imperialism, mostly America, because America, when it entered Afghanistan, of course, it followed its own interest coming to Afghanistan. And the other part, I think, refers to the Afghan government. I think if we have, we cannot say this is only the domestic situation. Of course, when America entered Afghanistan, of course, it followed in its own interest. But Afghanistan was not honest with the Afghan people, even with the Afghan government. Okay, let me tell you a short story that when I was in Herat and riding in a minibus or in a minivan, I had an honor soldier, Afghan army soldier beside me. He was injured. He had some injuries in his hands and faces. When I asked the story, he said that unfortunately, when we become very close to Taliban and when we are going to open fire on them, we have a foreign commander, American commander behind us shouting, "Don't fire and don't fire." And also they found some cans of food that was the same of the can they were given to Afghan soldiers on us. It shows that America followed a kind of conspiracy plan, an evil plan in Afghanistan. It was not, this country was not honest with the Afghan people. It was not honest with the Afghan even government. Yeah, when America came to Afghanistan, of course, Afghan people did not accept America, but these poor people and these oppressed people had no other choice, but they waited to give time, give opportunity to the government. They believed in their government, but unfortunately, the government was a puppet government.
Mr. Hafizullah,
did nothing for Afghan people. Yes.
You talked about the peace processes and you talked about the peace talks in Doha that did not result in anything tangible at the end. But there is a question that what is expected from these peace talks? Is Taliban ready to accept a system called as democracy, or I don't know whether you want to call it Republic, Islamic Republic of Afghanistan, or the Republic process, or is this something likely to take place that Taliban is going to sign under an agreement based on which country is going to be controlled by a system close to democracy? Are they ready to do that? Because so many believe that Taliban has changed from its 90s. Is that the case?
Mr. Razavi, talking about Taliban, we should have a short look at the Taliban background. I believe that based on the evidences we see in Afghanistan now, Taliban has not changed, and this group is not going to be changed because the Taliban, despite what they advertised among the people, this is not an independent group ideologically and based on the equipments. And the negotiation talks in Doha, I strongly believe that it's a new game played on Afghan people because, I talk about the conspiracy and evil plan on Afghan government, Hamid Karzai, some years ago, that secretly began to talk to the Taliban. But now, also the America is playing with the Taliban, and the peace negotiation is a type of game. And believe me, the Taliban does not believe in democracy. This group.
If there is nothing of that change, as you mentioned, so why countries such as Russia, Iran, even India, even America, they are all starting backdoor channels with Taliban and starting to negotiate with them. If there is nothing over there as a change in Taliban, so all these, even India, I heard just last week that India has started the backdoor to Taliban. So what is behind these backdoors to Taliban by these countries of the region and out of the region?
The best title we can choose to describe Taliban is the tools in foreigner hands, okay? Every country, including Russia, Iran, even Pakistan or India, okay, when they come to the Taliban, they seek their own interest. Okay, if you remember, I think some days ago, the Taliban delegation had a trip to Russia, okay? And the foreign minister of Russia said that, okay, the Taliban had given the Russian country the commitment not to use Afghanistan against a third country. So when it comes to the superpowers, the regional superpowers, and they have a look at the Taliban, they are worried about their own interests. They don't have a serious look at the talks, negotiations in Doha to come a kind of political settlements for Afghanistan. But there is a problem with the Afghan government that they didn't, I think, they didn't had a strategic plan to use the opportunities the government lost over the past years, okay? But now the Taliban, I think, take trips from country to country. I think they are paid money by some foreign countries to make a kind of guarantee to foreign countries' interest in Afghanistan, because in Afghanistan's war and peace, we have many big stakeholders from regionals to international stakeholders, okay? There's a fight between the interests of the foreigners in Afghanistan, and Taliban just implement what are dictated to them. So we should not, I think, be hopeful about the negotiation talks in Afghanistan.
As you said, we had a history of supporting the Americans of Taliban, and as you again said, that every country is looking for its interest. So tell us and the audience that what is the main interest of United States for supporting them?
Okay, the United
States. Because apparently we see that they are the enemies.
Yeah, of course.
Apparently.
Of course, yes. Let me tell you a story of my American colleague when I was teaching at the university, Dr. Julie. One day we were talking about the regional security and about the war and peace in Afghanistan, and she said that America worried about the growth of China most compared to the other countries. Now, China is going to be the most superpower in the world in the futures, in near futures, maybe in 10 or 20 years. But now, why America suddenly changed its policy toward Afghanistan and toward Taliban at the time of the Trump, that America is going to create a new type of war in Afghanistan, not to let China implement the economical projects like One Road and One Silk. It's going to join China to Central Asia and then to Europe. Okay, this is the war for money in Afghanistan, and it is predictable that at least in 2 coming years, peace and stability is not going to be established in Afghanistan. But now America thinks about own interest and has changed Afghanistan to a new battlefield for controlling China and the other rivals like Iran or Russia. Okay, and now can we say that when or if China is successful to implement the economical projects like the project I talk about, then China is going to be more powerful, and this is not to the benefits of Americans. So we should feel sorry for Afghan civilians and Afghan innocents that are daily basis become victimized by because of the American evil plans in Afghanistan.
Indeed. At the end, Mr. Hafizullah, Taliban belongs to an ethnic background that is possessing, I don't know, 40 to 50% of the population of Afghanistan. I mean the Pashtuns, if the figures are correct. What do you want to do to that if Taliban is not ready to accept the on-ground conditions for peace talks, and if Taliban is taking the control of the districts one by one? What is your suggestion for the future of Afghanistan, as they claim to represent Pashtuns as well as other, ethnic groups?
Okay, Mr. Rajabi, I think the basic solution for solving the Afghanistan crisis is first refers to the Afghan government. You know, now the corruption, and I think the corruption is very high in Afghanistan. First, the government of Afghanistan should make a kind of national unity and then work on some basic or infrastructure projects, like I think creating more jobs for Afghans. Now we can say the majority of the Taliban fighters belong to Pashtun ethnic, but Pashtuns are a tribe in Afghanistan. They have their own rights, but the government should should correct a type of foreign policy that
Are all the Pashtuns with Taliban?
are structured. No. Now I think we can say that Taliban in numbers and in force has changed compared to 10 years ago, or let me tell you 15 years ago. Now Taliban, I think we have some foreign fighters among the lines of the Taliban. First, I think we should distinguish between the Afghan Taliban and the foreign fighters fight in this case of Taliban in Afghanistan. We should distinguish between them. If there are the Afghan Taliban, I think the government should have some plans. If you have a short trip to the southern provinces of Afghanistan, mainly they have the residing place for Pashtun people. They are very poor. They are living in very poor circumstances. But now, can you say that lots of millions and millions or billions of dollars injected to Afghanistan, but it went to the pocket of the corrupt people, corrupt politicians? But now Afghan people have the right to ask the government what the government has done with lots of money came to Afghanistan. No infrastructure project was implemented for Afghan people. I think the best solution is, first we should make a kind of unity among the people, and then ask our international donors, I think, to put more money and to have a better supervision among how the money is being spent in Afghanistan. In Afghanistan, I think the foreigner or the money came to Afghanistan created a bigger problem than war. That was the corruption among the government, among the politicians in Afghanistan. Yes. Now in Afghanistan, I think we don't have socially we don't have the balance. You can see peoples or politicians driving luxurious cars cost $1 million, while you can see some poor people, I think, begging on the streets. This is the problem with Afghan people, with the Afghan government. This is the puppet government. Okay, this is the problem, Mr. Rajabi, for Afghan people, and also the American people. I think that Afghan people, first, they were told that yes, America is in Afghanistan. America is going to have the golden touch. Everything America touches is going to be turned to gold for Afghan people. But now everything America has touched in Afghanistan has turned to dust for Afghan people. This is the problem. This is the problem with the government that didn't enjoy a very proper foreign policy. I think it began a kind of blaming game against Pakistan, India, or this and that. This was the wrong policy.
Okay. Hussein, any other question? I'm over.
Yeah, I want to know of his view, of Mr. Hafizullah's views about the history. I mean, about the future of the ongoing war inside Afghanistan. How do you see the future, the near future of the conflict?
Okay, Mr. Hussein, I think unfortunately you should say that the future of Afghanistan is not bright. I think we should wait for darker days for Afghan people because of the new policies the American new administration is implementing, the Joe Biden administration, okay, is going to create more chaos and war in Afghan people. But now the government of Afghanistan has left alone also. He cannot do anything now for Afghan people. But now we have the flood of escaping from Afghanistan. Now I live in Iran. You can say that thousands and thousands of Afghan people escape from war and they illegally enter Iran. Okay, unfortunately, Mr. Hussein, at least for 2 years or 3 years, we cannot expect a bright future for Afghan people. We should wait for more chaos and war, for more, I think, death and for more immigration for Afghan people. And we should feel sorry for such politicians. And I think, I'm sure that this puppet government and the puppet president is going to be questioned by Afghan people that why you wasted the time, why you wasted the money, but why the civilians has paid the price for American coming to Afghanistan, and why we should pay the price for the cooperation of the puppet government with America.
So there is one more point if we have time, Rullah. As an Iranian, I'm so curious about this. What is the main reason that Iran is being blamed and criticized in the media of Afghanistan by the people? I mean, let alone that some of the videos or some of the pressure are from the outside of Afghanistan, but what is the main reason that Iran is being blamed?
Okay, I think we should not blame any country about our domestic problems, because I think it is the right for every country to follow its national interest, okay? When it comes to Iran, I think we should thank our Iranian brothers, because Iran has hosted millions of Afghan refugees over the past 4 years. And over the jihad of Afghanistan, Iranian helped Afghan people to fight against the Soviet Unions or the Red Army with high weapons and high-tech, I think, guns and weapons. But now we should give the right to Iran, that Iran has its biggest enemy in its neighboring country, Afghanistan. Okay, but why Afghan politicians should blame Iran? No, I'm sure that, and I believe that Afghan politicians don't have the right to blame Iran, because Iran, as a power in a regional country, has its own national interest, but it has the right to follow its national interest. But if Iran become close to the Taliban, okay, it's because of America. Because when Taliban is a tool in the hands of America to do everything in the region to create chaos, to kill Muslims, to kill innocents, okay, it may happen to Iran. But Taliban are not believable, and Iran knows this. But at least if Iran become closer to Taliban, at least Iran wants to take this opportunity from America and have Taliban to closer to its ends, with the hope to have the type of control over Taliban to make them closer to kind of political settlements. But I'm sure that Iran should not be blamed because of becoming close to Taliban, because it's not a strategic closure to the Taliban.
Thank you, Mr. Hafizullah.
Thank you, Mr. Rajabi, and we hope to have more, I think, this type of discussion in the future.
Let's hope for that. Every time I hear the name of Afghanistan and the pain and the suffering of the people of Afghanistan, it's actually scratching my soul, and I cannot, be indifferent towards the pain of these people that I feel the same flesh and the same blood they have. Let's hope by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, let's hope for a brighter future. Of course, you mentioned not a brighter future is coming from your perspective, but let's hope for that.
I've had this hope for all the Muslims in the world. I think why we have all the concerns on all the crises in the Islamic countries, okay? You can say Pakistan, Iran, Afghanistan, and the other Islamic countries. I think we should come to this belief that I think one day all Muslims, regardless of the country and the geographical border, should come together to stand firm against the superpowers and imperialism in the world. I think,
of course, all the humanity, as we Muslims have been the victim of the superpowers, you are telling the truth, but we believe that for all the humanity, of course.
Okay, Mr. Razir, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you for joining us, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hussein, also. And Mr.
Okay, I highly appreciate you, dear followers of us who are following this, who followed actually this episode of Counterclockwise. Do not forget to subscribe our channel and keep contact and keep tuned for the next episode of Counterclockwise.